let's get started. Okay, so I am Nancy from Nancy Inspired, and I have a gift that I call soul telepathy. When I am reading for individuals, I'm able to hear what your soul is trying to tell you for your next steps for your evolution. When I do it collectively like this, it is what is the most important wisdom that we need as a group, and it's taking in all of our situations and everything that's going on. What do we need to hear? And we're all on this journey together. So before we begin, I'd like to just ask for permission. I've already done a clearing for myself, but I'm just going to ask, can I, may I, and shall I do a reading for my Insight Timer friends and family, both those that listen now and those that listen later? Getting a clear yes. Is there any reason why I shouldn't at this moment in time? Can already feel the energy switching direction. There we go. Then I'm just going to clear the space. So we're going to cleanse, clear, and balance our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits on all levels for our highest and best goods. We are just going to ask that anything that doesn't belong in this space, that doesn't serve in this space that we share together now, gets sent to the feet of God, where it can be transmuted into love. So we cleanse, clear, and balance our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits on all levels for our highest and best good. I often picture a blue-white light swirling around and kind of clearing everything out as we do that. Then I'm just going to ask that everybody's intuition be raised to the highest level that they can accommodate with at this moment in time. Allow their souls to speak freely and clearly for everyone's highest and best good. Awesome. Thank you, Carolina. Yeah, I went for brunch, so I actually put a little bit of makeup on. Otherwise, I don't even usually, even at work or anything. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to put in that. So most of the time when I'm on here, it is unfiltered, barely brushed my hair. Just kidding. No, I care about you enough to make an effort. Okay, so we're going to start with a cup of tea, first of all. All right. And I'm going to tap into what is the wisdom that we need to hear at this moment in time. Okay. So what I heard is we're going to piggyback on what we were just talking about. And that is in a time of everything being enhanced, right? So if you're looking at social media, right, when the little clip that we see is the best take or the edited take and it's the best of the best, right? And there's so much where it's like the best of the best, the best of the best, that we forget that that average and ordinary has a place, and that it's important that we allow ourselves to just be. We don't need to be everything to everybody and perfect and flawless and da-da-da, and it's funny because I'm hearing to tell you a story. When I first started doing lives, I thought, okay, I gotta, get myself all dolled up so that I'm ready. And then I thought, you know what, why am I doing that? This is who I am, and so most of the time when I come on to lives now, it is just me. It's just me with no makeup on, it's just me. And I think it's important that we recognize and acknowledge the ordinary, that there is an extraordinary in ordinary. And what I'm hearing is that it's important to embrace the extraordinary in the ordinary in each other, because that's where real is. All right, okay, so I'm hearing to tell you, I was just having a conversation actually with my neighbor, and we were talking about how we're talking about a study that was done where, because of the excessive use of screen imagery and imagery for kids, that they are losing the ability to make pictures in their mind. Now, that was just one little thing that we read and we're talking about. I can't verify that with any scholarly knowledge, but losing the ability to make pictures in your mind, original pictures, sorry, that was the nature of the article, was original pictures in their mind because of the excessive images being given to them. And so what that means is that they can still be creative in terms of pulling images from different things, but not being able to synthesize into new thoughts and ideas and stuff. What I'm hearing is that it's really important right now for all of us to embrace some of the ordinary, some of the mundane, some of the real, some of the day-to-day. So I'm hearing right now that even like doing the dishes or sweeping the floor or making your bed, making it into like something that you do every day, something that is just a part of life that we kind of take for granted. What I'm hearing is celebrate it as something extraordinary. Take making your bed, for example. I like to make my bed when I first wake up in the morning. No judgment for anyone that doesn't. But for me, it's a ritual of I am closing my night of rest and I am beginning my day. So I am organizing my day. And it's sort of a little ritual of I'm moving from this to this. And celebrating the ordinary act of making my bed as becoming an extraordinary ritual of ending my sleep and starting my day turns something ordinary into something extraordinary. I'm also hearing that even things like eating, and I am very guilty of this. I tend to eat on the run, and it's like I'm doing 5 things as I'm eating, or I'll, make something for my granddaughter, and then I'm eating whatever leftovers are still in the pot or whatever. And what I'm hearing is even making eating and the ordinary act of eating into something extraordinary turns the energy of eating into nourishment of mind, body, and spirit. This is definitely something I need to work on, and that I'm listening and going, yes, I'm hearing this. I need this too. But taking these ordinary acts and creating ritual out of them. So this is what I'm hearing with eating, right? What you're ingesting with your food. So not just the food that you're ingesting, but the environment that you're ingesting, the space that you're ingesting, the energy of what you're ingesting. If it's like rush, which often is how I eat, I am putting that stressed rush energy into my body, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to take even 10 minutes to sit and eat and not be thinking of anything else. Be aware that those ordinary moments of eating can become an extraordinary moment. I'm also hearing cleaning up, things like doing the dishes, brushing your teeth, those kinds of things can also become a ritual of cleansing, right? Before we start this journey every Sunday, I do a cleansing for myself energetically, and then I do a cleansing of the space and our group collective energy together. And so what I'm hearing is make the ordinary act of brushing your teeth or doing the dishes or whatever it is you're cleaning as a cleansing, and think of it as I'm cleansing and clearing and balancing my heart, my mind, my body, and my spirit on all levels for my highest and best good. While I'm washing these dishes, while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm cleansing away anything that doesn't belong to me. And we can make these ordinary situations into extraordinary practices, extraordinary health benefiting, higher vibrational thinking. And I'm hearing that when we are in a higher vibrational level, this is my purpose, my life purpose is to help elevate human consciousness one person at a time. That's what I was told when I was given my gift. And so what I'm hearing is that when you do these things with consciousness, when you do these ordinary tasks with an extraordinary focus, you then elevate your consciousness. You elevate those around you. When you're elevated, you elevate those around you. So as you're eating, think of it as what you are ingesting, what you are taking in, and processing, and even the act of digestion. I know I've had this insight before, where our bodies actually take in nutrients from what we're eating and expel what doesn't serve us, what we don't need anymore, literally gets expelled. Think about that as you're eating, that you're taking in what is good for you, what serves you, what helps you to grow, what helps you to flourish, and we release energetically anything that doesn't serve us. Same with cleaning, making your bed, all those different things, making them into those ordinary events into something extraordinary allows us to then elevate our consciousness. What I'm also hearing, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I love this. So when we start doing ordinary things with an extraordinary focus, we no longer need as much external stimuli. So I'm going to guess this has to do with like dopamine levels and stuff like that. We tend to seek out stimuli in order to, increase our dopamine and whatnot. And what I'm hearing is that if you create this extraordinariness around the ordinariness, we will have less need for the excessive stimulation that, the words that I just heard are blocking human consciousness. So the excessive stimulation that we seem to need or crave or want tends to block our divine connection to that. Okay, the words I'm hearing is place of peace, place of stillness. When we're in a place of peace and a place of stillness, we're open to receiving messages, both from within ourselves as well as the collective consciousness and divine wisdom. So when we are in that place of stillness, in that place of peace, in that place of openness, we are then able to receive that higher consciousness from our higher selves. So what I'm hearing is that we tend to fill those spaces. I do it myself. As soon as I get in the car, I think, who can I talk to? Who can I call? As opposed to just sitting in that space, or I'll put on the music, or I'll put on my story. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but maybe if I sat in the stillness a little bit more comfortably, I would be more open to receiving and hearing messages from my higher self if I'm not trying to fill that space all the time. And what I'm hearing is that when we allow those ordinary moments to become extraordinary and we create ritual around them, we then make space, because we don't then crave the extra stimuli. We don't crave that as much, which then allows for bigger space. What I'm hearing right now is what we're being asked to do right now, this week, coming up for whatever reason. What we're being asked to do is be aware of the spaces in between. So I know when I first started meditating and I went to like a meditation class, that's what they talked about. They talked about your mind is going, and become aware of those spaces in between. So when you have just a moment between, from this thought to this thought, it's that space that you're paying attention to, and then that space stretches. What I'm hearing is that that's what we're being called to do this week, is pay attention to those moments, those spaces in between, and actually take some conscious spaces in between. So what I'm hearing is things like just pausing and taking a few breaths before moving on to the next activity. If you are making your bed, if that's the ritual we're talking about, and we think of it as I'm closing out my sleep and I'm starting my day, just when you're finished, or maybe just before you begin, stop and take just a few breaths of gratitude, or just space, saying, okay, I've ended my sleep. Take a few breaths. Make your bed. I'm starting my day. Take a few breaths. Because what I'm hearing is that this coming week, that's what we're being asked to to do is to find those pauses, those spaces in between. And one of the ways to do that is by making extraordinary rituals out of ordinary things. And then in turn, what happens is we no longer crave that stimuli, because the act of making our bed becomes something that we become emotionally and spiritually connected to, that we no longer need to fill that space as often. I think that's beautiful, and I'm definitely going to I'm going to listen to this advice. I think it's something important and intentional. I'm hearing, that's awesome, Frank. I want to see what Frank said. I'm washing my feet every day before I go to bed. What a great ritual. Not sure if it's an addiction, but it feels good. Well, if it's an addiction, it's a good one. I don't think there's anything wrong with washing your feet. And I think, you know what, Frank, as you do that, to actually, when you think of our feet, this is what I'm hearing. I started putting my own thoughts, and then all of a sudden I got washed with, here, this is what you're supposed to say. What I'm hearing is that our feet are our foundation. It is what we're connecting to the earth. We are absorbing. We are they're moving us from place to place. And as we move from place to place and absorb, we are absorbing the good, the bad, the ugly. The celebrations, the joys, the triumphs, and everything. And in order to have a clear conscience rest, being able to wash all of that away, so I just heard it's similar to the digestion thing. It's like, you know what, I'm going to keep everything that serves me. I'm washing away what doesn't serve me, so that as I go to bed into that dream state, I am now clear of everything that doesn't serve me. Okay, I'm getting tons of imagery on this, Frank. Thank you for opening this portal here. Because interesting, there's a meditation that I do regularly. I think I did it. I think I might even have a recording of it, or I'm creating a recording of it. I'm not sure. But in it, there's a whole little process, and then I land in a space, and the first thing I do is my feet get washed in a stream. I walk in this warm stream, and I imagine and visualize this water flowing over my feet, and cleansing it. And I'm hearing now, Frank, that's exactly what this is about. It's about cleansing away what doesn't serve you, releasing everything that doesn't serve you, in order to create a fresh, clean slate, a clean space. And by doing it before bed, that's brilliant, because you're not only washing away what doesn't serve you from the day, but you're opening up on a spiritual level your conscious mind to receive messages in your dream state. When we are especially in that space between sleeping and waking, that space is the most powerful space in terms of receiving messages and hearing our inner self and hearing those messages. So by cleansing ourselves in whatever way, whether it's, our feet. I love the ritual of the feet, though. I'm going to definitely, my mind is getting I'm being shown all kinds of pictures. There was a reason you said that today, Frank. Definitely getting all kinds of pictures on that. So it allows us to just cleanse, and allows us to be open in that space, in that dream space. And that's what we're being asked to do this next coming week, is to really find those spaces in between, those pauses in between, and then try to elongate those pauses a little bit so that they are clearer and allow for more connection, more opening. I was just asking, like, why is that important this week? And I just heard it just is. It just is. It's actually important all the time. But I am hearing it has to do with reducing the need for that external stimuli, reducing that need for that external validation. Having more internal locus of control is the words that I'm hearing right now. Okay, I'm just going to quickly read the chat, because there's so much good stuff always in the chat. Yovita says, indeed, it feels good, Frank, that's cleansing by water, washing away what is not yours or no longer needed so you can sleep well. Exactly, Yovita. And then Ginger said, these kinds of rituals feel weird initially, but then become habits. Good habits. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start washing my feet before bed. Frank, you just changed my life. I'm not even kidding. Amar, so true. I'm finally falling into my feminine energy and created a self-care routine at night. Wonderful. It's been quite powerful and calms me down right prior to sleep. Beautiful. I'm gonna, you know what? I tend to fall in bed so exhausted that I don't do anything. I barely even wash my face. I hate admitting that. But it's like I get my granddaughter to bed and I, do whatever I need to be ready for the next day. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm out and I barely spend time on myself. I am going to incorporate all of this. Maybe I've just hijacked this whole collective reading for myself selfishly. Melinda, my whole life, I've always showered at night. I feel as if I can't go to sleep without that ritual. Then that's beautiful. Ginger, and morning. It just feels good. Fabulous. All that external noise is an attempt to distract us from pain that we're not feeling. So maybe if we can get more comfortable in our own skin, we'll be less distracted. Ginger, that's brilliant. Yes, absolutely. And I think, and not just the pain, but the space, we need to be aware. And when you have that space, it allows you to become aware of what it is you need to be aware of. Whereas if we're constantly filling, which I do as well, unless I am consciously clearing, consciously cleansing, I tend to want to fill up the space. It's probably the ADHD in me, but unless I'm creating, if I'm sewing, I make these little wreaths. I don't know if you can see them behind me. I make these little protection wreaths. When I'm sewing, my mind is clear and I'm receiving messages and I'm thinking about the person I'm making them for. And it just, it shows that when you clear that space, more can happen. And as I said that, it's not about more. It's about openness. And sometimes the more is the space. It's not about more messages. It's about internalizing the moment and what's happening at that moment. Nucha. Water symbolizes intellect, constantly flowing, a spiritual power. Beautiful. Our feet is a part of our physical body, showing very much on our external physical selves. When we pour water on our body, we are adding intellect and spirituality to our physical and sometimes coarse bodies. Beautiful. I really love how you worded that. Manisha, wonderful. And that is exactly it. That energetic cleansing of that dense energy that we accumulate through overstimulation is what I'm hearing as kind of the overall summary message of that. Anything else on that topic? No. Okay, we're going to move into what is the next bit of messaging. That was some good, powerful messaging. I'm going to have to re-listen to that back. I do record this part so that, and I make it available on other platforms. This first part, the second part where I do individuals, I don't, because I don't want to conflict anybody. Okay, let me just, what's the next bit of messaging I hear? Okay, I became aware when I get messaging, sometimes it's an image, sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's a part of my body I become aware of. I became aware of my little pinky. Why? Okay, this actually goes along a little bit with what we were just talking about. So, what it was saying is like, okay, I'm getting a bunch of stuff. Here and tell you a story. I once broke my little pinky toe, and I caught it in something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I broke it. But what I became aware of was just how much the little pinky toe that we don't really think about affects your balance and everything. How you walk, how you exist in space. How your shoes fit, how you step. But the biggest thing was the balance. And I realized that little pinky toe, even though we really don't, pay attention per se. So what I'm hearing is even the smallest change even the smallest focus and adjustment on those ordinary details, on those things we overlook, will make a difference. It doesn't have to be that I'm all of a sudden going to create a routine at night that takes me an hour where I, wash my face and then wash my feet and then have a shower, because I might not actually physically be able to maintain that. But the smallest change, that we might overlook is actually very important in terms of our balance and how we remain balanced. And so don't overlook those little changes, the little things that you can do, the little changes. It doesn't have to be a giant overhaul. What I'm hearing is giant overhauls, sure, it's great, but they're difficult to maintain. Small, incremental, little pinky finger has tremendous impact when trying to make lasting change. And I'm hearing that it goes beyond just how we were talking about making the ordinary extraordinary, but I'm talking about achieving goals. That what I'm hearing is that there's a number of us here right now that are really working towards achieving some kind of goal. Maybe it's a project you want to finish. Maybe it's something you want to do for your health. Maybe it's something you want to learn. And I'm hearing that a lot of us have some goals that we want to work on. And what I'm hearing is don't overlook the pinky finger. That's going to be the catchphrase or the metaphor or whatever. Don't overlook the pinky finger. Pinky finger doesn't seem as important as the rest, but if you hurt it, and I've been fortunate enough, I never hurt my pinky finger that way. So, but I have my toe, and I remember just how much it affected everything. What I'm hearing is don't underestimate the power of small changes, of small steps, of small incremental focus areas is what the words I just heard. Allow yourself to celebrate those small little changes, because those small incremental changes lead to more and lead to more and lead to more and lead to more and lead to more, and are often way more sustainable than a complete overhaul. Complete overhauls, I just heard, are like renovating your house. There's always something more you find. There's always something more you have to do. It's a big project. It's stressful. Instead of renovating your whole house, small incremental changes. Small incremental things that are manageable is what I'm hearing. Okay, I'm just going to take a look at can I recommend an app for this? Let's send reminders whenever. Yes, of course you can recommend an app. And then, yes, Insight Timer does that as well, for sure. I use Insight Timer for that kind of thing. Awesome, but yes, you can recommend something. I think as long as I'm not recommending something, whatever happens in the chat, it's like I can't advertise for myself, but whatever happens in the chat is an organic thing that happens. As long as people are being respectful. All right. Let me tap in. Is there anything else on that? No, okay. What's next? Okay. All right. So what I got was like a they're at the airport kind of. Well, what I got was on ice kind of thing. But the idea is kind of like at the airport. Sometimes when people have to move quicker, there's these flat, they're like conveyor belts that you stand on and you can walk on, and it just makes you go that much faster because it's moving as well. So it just kind of, I guess, helps speed up getting from place to place. But what I'm hearing is that sometimes going faster is necessary. If you're at the airport, for example, and you're trying to get to a flight that you're going to miss, of course you have to go faster. But what I saw is that sometimes we feel like we're going faster, but we still end up in the same place. right? So we might get there faster. So I just got given an image. The other day I was driving and there was this guy who was just driving super unsafe, and he was like zipping in and out of even in and out of cars, in and out of cars, in and out of cars. And I'm just like, man, that guy's going to cause an accident. Like, he's obviously in a hurry. And then we ended up being both stopped at the same red light. He was like one car ahead of me. And I thought, for all of his like trying to zip, zip, zip and go fast, he ended up pretty much in the same place. And that's what I'm hearing, is that sometimes going faster isn't what we need. And what I'm hearing specifically is at this season, at this time of year. Now, I don't know whether that means sort of the Christmas season, or whether that means, I mean, there's a few different seasons going on right now for holidays, or whether that's like winter solstice. But what I'm hearing is that going faster right now is not what we need. What we need is to actually slow down. And okay, I'm recently, the reason why I wasn't here last week is because I hurt my back. I have no idea how. It was in a dream. I had a dream that I was ziplining from my ex-husband's house to another house, and I was ziplining, and in the dream I hurt my back. Then I woke up and I couldn't move. My back, I was in bed all day because I could not move without immense pain. And then the next day it just went away. And it was like, Nancy, you just need to spend a day in bed, not caring about anybody else, and just spending a day in bed. What I'm hearing is that right now, at this season is the word that I'm hearing. So it's not just the next week, it's this season. We are being asked to slow down and to recognize that sometimes going fast, going on that conveyor belt to get a little faster, doesn't actually get us any further. It just makes it more stressful. And so what I'm hearing is that this is a time, a season of slowing down. Now, I know where I live, it's very much the season of slowing down, because now the roads are getting icy and things are cold. You know, the trees have lost all their leaves. Like, it's very much the night is longer, the darkness is longer where I live, and so there's a natural rhythm to slowing down. Not everybody lives in places where you have that earth natural rhythm that we see of slowing down, but I am hearing that right now we are being called to slow down. So if you find yourself on that escalator, on that treadmill, go, 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 that's what I'm hearing, is right now we're being asked to slow down. And if you find that there are mysterious illnesses, oh, all of a sudden I got a cold, or all of a sudden I hurt my back and zip lining in a dream. What the heck is that? I don't know. It's because we're being called to slow down. So I'm hearing to be aware of that in the next few weeks, because I am hearing season. This is a season. So season, I'm hearing we're talking 10 to 12 weeks is what I just heard. So season, this is a season of slowing down. Now, obviously, there's lots of situations where, I mean, where I live, you know, it's Christmas season, so, and everything's like hurry, 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 and you know, there's situations around us. But I'm hearing, okay, full circle. This goes back to what we were talking about before, and taking space, finding those pauses, because this is the season to slow down. And when you have a moment, slow down. And if your body is giving you signals like colds or mysterious back pains or different things like that, it is time to slow down. I'm also hearing there's someone in particular that was just recently made to have to wait. Like, I don't know what the situation was, but they were like, go, go, go. And then they had to wait on a situation to change. I'm hearing to tell you, if that resonates with you, that was a clear message for you to slow down, that to just take pause when you're being forced to wait, even though, you know, you're trying to move forward, trying to go somewhere, whatever, and things don't work out. It's because you just are meant to just pause, and rather than get frustrated, take it as a pause. With my back, I listened And I literally lay in bed last Sunday, all Sunday. I felt guilty for not coming on here, and I probably could have made myself, sit and prop comfortable and do it. But then I thought, no, I can wait. I can wait. And I can lay in bed today. And even my granddaughter, my daughter rose to the occasion and had her. And I literally lay in bed all day. And that's a very rare thing for me. As somebody who is rather hyper, it is difficult for me to lay in bed. But because my back hurt so much, I really didn't have much choice than to lay in bed. And I did. I slept, I napped, I watched some shows, I talked to some friends on the phone, mostly slept and napped. I read a book, and it was just that space. So that's what I'm hearing, is that we are being asked this season. So I'm hearing what that means is the next 10 to 12 weeks, that we are being asked to find opportunity to slow down and just take some space, take some time, take some space, and slow down. We're going to get to the same place in the same way, just like the guy trying to zip around in the traffic. We got to the same red light. He was one car ahead of me. You'll get to the same place. You'll get there. But slowing down is what you need right now. And if you are having mysterious illnesses and stuff like that, it's because we're being asked to slow down. And when we don't listen, our bodies make us slow down. So I can attest to that. I'm not good at slowing down. I'm really not. And this is resonating loud and clear. Even though it's difficult for me, it is definitely resonating loud and clear. That slowing down is essential. I'm just going to take a look at the chat. I find this task to be so difficult. Slowing down can be so hard. Me too, my dear. Me too. It's like, yeah, unless something takes me out, I don't slow down. But this is a message for me. I mean, I haven't been able to work because my hours are cut. I rested so much. It was a blessing from hell. There you go. Maybe it was you, Marina. I was hearing clearly that there was at least one person, if not more, that had rest kind of imposed on them. They had to wait for something. And what I'm hearing is that absolutely was a gift of time, even though it didn't feel like it, even though it was inconvenience. It's a gift of time. I got sick last week too, staying in bed for a couple days, right? I mean, as much as we don't like being sick, maybe we need to think about that in terms of like, we need to do it before we get sick. But I find myself, I don't know if you're like this, but myself, I think of all the things I need to do and all the things I should do or could do. And so I don't give myself that time until I am sick. But maybe if we started thinking about it when we start to feel like, hey, I'm running on empty, I'm go, maybe that's the time to take the rest. Maybe then we wouldn't get sick. I don't know. That's just a thought. And darn it, I was sick this week, needed the rest. Melinda, I got sick last week with the cold for the first time in a couple of years. So this is resonating in terms of we need to listen and take the time as we need it. All right. Is there anything else? All right, I'm going to stop.